All right, hello there, everybody. My name is Liam. Um, I am going to be actually teaching, and actually, I said Liam. My spiritual name is Killian. My first name is Liam. But anyway, today I'm going to be sharing section one of my High Priest, High Priestess training. This training is available through my website, hallowedhighlands.com. It's also available through my coven, Celestial Sanctuary. But anyway, I decided that I wanted to share section one with everyone so that way you can kind of get an idea of what to expect from my clergy training. So, anyway, I'm going to pop on over to. There we go. All right, so section one. Today we're going to be talking about self-care and personal practice. So that's going to furthermore break down to personal spiritual practice, shadow work, self-healing, goal setting, Maslow's hierarchy of needs, coping skills, RAP, which is the recovery action plan, self-soothing, preparing yourself before serving others, as well, and resources. All right. So, with self care and individual practice, it is very important that you develop a daily spiritual practice and that you keep to it. Obviously, there's going to be days where you're not feeling well and all that, but for the most part, it's very important that you try to be spiritual every day. Here, I have just a few spiritual things listed that you can pull from if you would like to add them to your personal spiritual practice. So I have prayer, meditation, reading. So that could be reading certain texts. It could be reading about the deities that you follow. It could be reading about the holidays, anything like that. Singing, chanting, drumming, singing bowls, which actually I have singing bowls for all the chakras on my deity altar, and I use them almost daily. You can also use other musical instruments. You can dance, you can use fire and candles, give offerings, dedicate time and service to your deities, to ascended masters, to your guides, to anyone you want. All right, self care and individual practice continued. No matter what, please don't drop your personal practice. Especially since you are going to be clergy and leading and taking care of others, you need to make sure that you take care of yourself first. And your personal practice is the core of your spirituality, and it is heavily tied in with your health. If you drop your personal practice, you will struggle to lead others. So, one thing to keep in mind and remember is you cannot pour from an empty vessel. Keep your altars clean, wipe them down and dust them frequently. If you miss a day, like I said, don't beat yourself up. We all have days where we're sick or not feeling well. We're just so bogged down with things that we have to do in the mundane. It happens. Be easy on yourself. You can also spend time doing divination for yourself. So I have a few examples right here of divination. I personally like to do tarot and runes for myself. Shadow work. You should constantly be striving to heal and grow. Perform honest introspection or looking deeply into yourself and look to embrace your whole self. So this means your shadow self as well. And your shadow self is the part of you that is made up of all the things that you are either ashamed of, afraid of, the things you hide from other people. Um, and something that I really wanted to talk about here is that there is a very scary toxic positivity within the pagan community. There's a huge emphasis on light work and light workers in the community, and it scares me because we cannot run from darkness. Yin or darkness is in everything. Yin and yang are present in everything. So when we don't accept our shadow self, we don't pay attention to our shadow self, we don't look for ways that we can use our shadow self to heal ourselves and others, we're missing out, and we're honestly out of balance and unhealthy. So to work on shadow work, just a few things that you can do. I actually teach a whole class on shadow work, but we're not going to go into that right now. But introspection, which again is looking into yourself and being honest about what you find. Meditation, and there are lots of different meditations out there, and there are specifically tailored meditations to shadow work. You can also write down what your shadow self is like. So once you have down everything about your shadow self, you can first take the step to radically accept it. You know, you just have to accept that this is my shadow and this is what it's like. But then from there, you can determine what you can change, and then you can develop a plan to heal and work and change those things that you do not like. All right, so daily self healing is a really great idea. If you know Reiki, practice self Reiki treatments on yourself, or if you don't practice Reiki, consider looking into Reiki treatments from someone else. Another way you can perform daily self healing is meditation. And I have two examples here, higher self and inner child. These are just two of many different meditations that you can use. Your higher self will connect you with your divine wise inner teacher. And inner child, I feel, is also important to mention because in our society, a lot of us are dealing with trauma from childhood, and taking some time to meditate on our inner child, make contact, and hold that inner child and give that inner child love and peace and healing can do a lot for you. Take your medicine like you're supposed to. Eat mindfully and wisely. So that means don't just like scarf it down. Actually pay attention to what you're eating. Thank the food for what it's doing for your body, and be one with actually eating your food instead of doing a million different things while eating at the same time. Drink water. We are made up of water and we need to be drinking water. Check your breathing. A lot of times when we get stressed out, we hold our breath. I know I do it. So if you're doing that, remind yourself, okay, let's breathe. Check for tension and release it. We hold tension in all different areas of our body. Some of the most common are in our jaw, in our shoulders. A lot of us draw our shoulders up to our ears and don't realize it. So throughout the day, remind yourself to drop your shoulders, maybe crack your back a little bit, take some deep breaths. You can also practice yoga, qigong, and tai chi, or other physical activities that incorporate spirituality and movement. You don't want stagnant energy that stays still. Energy is meant to flow and move and change, so you want to get moving. And then also make noise. So you can use singing bowls or other musical instruments. You can also tap into your chakras and make sure that they are open and balanced. Drumming, chanting, singing, and dancing. And like I said, get moving and make noise. Make a list of goals for yourself and organize them by what area of your life they pertain to. We will focus on spirituality here for this example. So, say your goals are to become ordained, start a coven, and decolonize your practice. From there, you want to brainstorm the steps for each of these goals so that way you can make constant, even if it's baby steps, but constant progress. This can be particularly powerful if you struggle with depression, anxiety, and/or ADHD. Um, Having a list of the baby steps can really help us go, okay, well, I can do this today. I can do this today. And then when you do it, check it off. And it feels really good to be able to do that. All right, so going with our example of the goal being to become ordained, start a covenant, decolonize your practice, your steps could be read and study every presentation in this course, attend lectures and meditate on the material, practice the skills learned, ask questions and study for any tests, read credible and up-to-date works and books, watch good supplemental videos, and you can also make a list of every class, homework, and project, and that way each time you finish one, you can highlight it or cross it off. I cannot stress this enough. Make your goals realistic. Don't tell yourself that you're going to become ordained in a week or even a couple of months. When we make unrealistic goals for ourselves, whether it's the goal itself that's unrealistic or the timing, we really burn ourselves out and we put ourselves at risk of giving up. All right, so here we have a picture of Maslow's hierarchy of needs, and I'm about to do a little bit of talking about it. It's comprised of 5 sections, like we saw in the picture. We must meet our most basic needs before we can progress up the triangle. So if we move back here to the picture, we need to look at our physiological needs first. If these needs are not met, we can't move up to the next one, which is safety. And then obviously we can't make our way all the way up to self-actualization. It can be helpful to print off a picture of this and keep it somewhere that you see it often, like maybe on your fridge. This can serve as a visual reminder to check in with yourself. What needs are met? What needs are not being met? What can you do to meet those needs? How is it affecting you, and what can you do about it? Now, with self-actualization, it's actually not that common for people to reach self-actualization and maintain it. From my personal experience, I have been actualized, and then I have dropped down, and I have gone back up, and then dropped back down. So, from my personal experience, you can get there, and then you can kind of teeter and tip back down, and then you can get back up there again. So, something that's very important is just to be very gentle with yourself and your process. If your needs are not being met, you will struggle to lead your group. So please, as clergy, it is even more important that you take care of yourself. You are your own first patient. If you take care of yourself, you will be able to take care of others. Coping skills. So please use them. Don't just think about it. The picture here is a little blurry, but I included the URL to a list of 99 different coping skills. When I work on the crisis text line, I actually suggest that people print multiple copies of this out and then keep them in places that are very easily accessible. So, like if you carry a purse, put one in your purse. If you carry a backpack, put one in your backpack, put one on your fridge. Um, Do this and then highlight the ones on the list that speak to you. So that way, when you start getting stressed out or you're heading towards crisis, you can quickly pull out the list, look at the highlighted ones, and go, okay, what can I do right now to help myself cope with how I'm feeling? I also want you to be mindful. We're all pretty much already mindful of this, but be mindful that some coping skills are not healthy. Alcohol, illicit drugs, self-harm, things like that are coping skills, but they're very unhelpful. They hurt you more than they help. Consider filling out a RAP for yourself. So RAP is also called the Wellness Recovery Action Plan. I personally have mental illness, and when I was in an intensive recovery program, they introduced me to RAP, and I've used it ever since. It's a really great resource for planning for crisis. It's packed full of helpful information that you can share with your loved ones and your medical team so that they know how you're doing and you know how you're doing, and you can kind of check in and see, am I kind of on the road to crisis? Okay, I am on the road to crisis. These are the, symptoms to look out for. It's such an amazing plan, and I highly suggest that you print it out and fill it out. Oh, and also you can share it with your coven members or your students or whoever you are leading. So more with self-care. Use your senses to self-soothe when you're upset, when you're feeling off, when you're in crisis. So you can do things like eat if you're hungry, drink if you're thirsty, try to take a nap or go to bed early if you're tired. Smell comforting scents. So you can use like roller oils. You can use a scented candle, scented lotion. Um, Use your sense of touch and touch something soft or something else that's a comforting texture. I like to pet my animals when I'm really stressed out. You can get a worry stone or take a hot bath. Look at adorable or visually pleasing pictures or videos. Watch a comfort movie or show. I personally have a depression playlist on YouTube, and it's just filled with hilarious videos that I can't not laugh. So I like to watch that when I'm really depressed. Another thing you can do is self-massage. As I mentioned earlier, we all carry tension in our body in different places. So taking a few minutes, even a couple times a day, to like rub areas where you're tense can help a lot. It's amazing how that can help. Before leading a coven meeting, a ritual, healing session, or anything else, take a few minutes to work on your chakras. Start with your root and move your way up to your crown chakra. Make sure that they're open and that the energy is flowing between them. You can use things like meditation, singing bowls, oils, mantras, and mudras to work with your chakras. There's more things as well, but those are some of the primaries. If you are sick or otherwise unwell, it is okay to cancel. And if you are lucky enough to have a board, which I do for Celestial Sanctuary, you can ask, your board members, hey, I'm sick. I know we have a ritual tomorrow. Can someone do the ritual for me? And if you don't have a board like that, then like I said, it's okay to cancel. If you are not well, you need to take care of yourself. Now, if you find yourself in crisis or you're helping someone who's in crisis, there are tons of resources out there for help. I highly suggest that you consider the crisis text line, which is a place that I volunteer at as a crisis counselor. All you have to do is text 741-741, and it's free and confidential. The only time that we break confidentiality is if the person we're helping is at imminent risk of ending their life or someone else's. There's also, and that is all chat based. So if you are not, if you're like me and you don't like phone calls, crisis text line is amazing because it's just text. But if you want to call somebody and talk to somebody, then the National Suicide Hotline is a great place to call. And I have the number right here. I highly suggest as clergy that you put this number in your phone so that at any point you need to give it to someone or use it yourself, you have it. And then here are some resources that you can share with the people that you are leading. Some of these are Virginia specific since I am based in Virginia. I have Virginia Social Services, the Virginia Department of Behavioral Health and Developmental Studies. And then I also have resources that are a little more not Virginia based, I guess, which is NAMI. They're the National Alliance on Mental Illness. The ISSTD, they are the International Study for the Study of Trauma and Dissociation. Aunt Bertha, this is a great website that can help you track down resources from help getting food, help paying your rent, finding a job, finding a therapist. Aunt Bertha's great. I also have on here online support groups through the Depression and Bipolar Support Alliance. I have attended a few of their groups before and they're great. And I also have some resources here on cognitive behavioral therapy or CBT, CBT skills, dialectical behavioral therapy or DBT, as well as DBT skills. These are all so helpful for anyone, even if you don't have mental illness. And then also EFT, which is emotional freedom technique or tapping. And then I also have my picture sources and some other resources. Calm Harm right here, I want to mention, this is the first one here. It's an app for self-harm prevention, and it is amazing. I like to use it, and I also suggest it to a lot of people on the crisis text line. Fort Refuge is another great website. It's a support site for people with mental illness and trauma recovery. If you have a dissociative illness, which I actually have dissociative identity disorder, I have found so much help and support and love on this site. So if you know someone who's dealing with that or you yourself are, I suggest checking out Fort Refuge. And that is the end of section 1. So I'm going to end here. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I really honestly hope that it showed you the entire presentation because my screen is showing me that it is not. If it didn't, I am so sorry, and I will look into re-recording. Anyway, I hope you guys are all doing well. If you liked this video and want to see more, please like and subscribe. And head on over to my website, www.hallowedhighlands.com. I sell a bunch of metaphysical supplies, jewelry, tools, kits, and I also have a bunch of different services up there to look into. So I hope you're having a great day.